It's Friday, September 9th, 2022, and this is Dan Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast. I'm Dennis, and I'll be your host as we review the latest Marvel happenings across all media, as well as other superpowered stories that caught our attention. And when I say we, this week I'm referring only to my nerdy co-host joining for the evening. It's Ricky. Let's get him out here.
Yeah.
That was the fast intro.
Yeah.
It's full disclosure for two things. One, we're pre-recording this one again because Ricky's got some stuff to do on the actual Friday. So if you're watching this live on Friday night, apologies because we won't be able to respond to you. But if you do comment or anything, we can respond later. Second thing, the reason we haven't been pulling guests as often right now is because we're doing a lot of double features with both She-Hulk and Harley Quinn, and both of those shows are coming out on Thursdays, right? And so it feels dirty to make a guest who's doing us the courtesy of coming on the show.
If you're a real fan, you'll watch two shows within 12 hours.
See, I'm not trying to gatekeep like that, but
two subscription services.
Two different subscription services, yeah. So I don't mind. I don't mind it just being us sometimes. When it's when we just want to talk about the thing, we just want to be nerdy and share our opinions. It's okay. It's okay if we don't have everybody here.
Yeah.
But So that's I think I also technically got a lot of formalities out of the way, right? I said what we're going to be talking about tonight. I said we're not live, so comments, if you write them, we'll get back to you later.
I mean, we're a day out from a big Disney Plus Marvel thing.
Right.
So if some news drops between now and then, that's on us. Don't
blame us.
Yeah, don't blame us.
Or it is on us.
I guess it is on us for not covering it.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing that I would put out there in the normal show would be if you can't get enough of us, you should visit patreon.com/danxmedia, where you'll find a variety of creative offerings, including recent episodes of our live after show, The Soapbox. Patrons typically get exclusive access to chat with us. But if that's not your thing, don't worry. We usually put that one out to the public the following week. I don't think because of timing issues, we will not be doing a live Soapbox this week as well. But we will be next week, right, Ricky? You're going to be.
Yeah, no, we're back to business.
We're back to business live next Friday to talk about the finale of Harley Quinn and the midpoint of She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
But this week we're going to be talking about episode 9 of Harley Quinn season 3 and She-Hulk episode 4. But before we get to that, what else you got going on this week? What have you been up to?
I mean, I saw you.
That's true. And Frank.
Yes, I met Frank. I finally met Frank, everybody. Who was off camera.
I think that was one of the funnest social experiments, is just inviting a person you've never physically met to do a podcast with us. And we did one for a year with Frank.
Yeah, there's 50 episodes I've done with that man.
Yeah, you did 50 episodes with him without ever seeing. Well, I mean, to be fair, you have seen him in person. You just didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know we were strangers then.
Yeah.
But no, that was super fun. We went to your workshop, your toy photography workshop, learned a bunch of cool stuff. Got to see all your toys, see all your sets. I always forget how much toy photography stuff that you have. It is.
I have a lot.
I think you're past hobby at this point.
I'm trying to be.
What is past hobby?
I'm trying to figure out a way to leverage that into something bigger.
But it was a lot of fun.
I brought the tiniest fraction of my stuff to that workshop, but I got a lot of really positive reviews. A lot of people were just I've never been to a workshop where people are literally yelling, "This is so much fun!" That was a really cool thing. And I've been gathering up the images, people have been sending them my way so I can collect them all and put them together in some kind of you know uh, visual catalog or whatever of what people do. And no, it was really fun. It was really it was I never would have imagined, a few years ago that I would ever be teaching people how to do that kind of stuff. But it was a very unique experience, and I appreciate that you got to come and check it out and take some photos. And I'll steal those ones that you sent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for
Yeah.
sure. The other thing, I watched the first episode of For All Mankind.
Oh,
That's a good show. That's a good first episode.
it's an excellent first episode.
Straight up a movie.
Every episode is a movie, pretty much. Yeah.
But I think we're hooked. After we finished it, I'm like, we have 29 more of these to get through.
And some of them are like an hour and a half.
So I'm excited to have a new show.
Every finale, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I binged it all 2 weekends ago, and that was
incredible.
It was intense. It was intense.
What else did you do? What did you do this weekend aside from the workshop?
Dude, I passed out so hard after that workshop, and then I just ended up resting. But now what I've been doing is cleaning up this studio so that I can actually get to do my own toy photography, because I was sitting there watching a lot of people do it, at the event, or helping people do it. But I'm just trying to like organize everything.
Because toys in too, right?
All the Spider-Man 60th anniversary stuff is arriving, or some has arrived already, and others will be arriving in the next few days. So I'm really excited to get stuff ready to go for that. And so yeah, I had to find like something to binge on the background while I've been doing that. Like I just started. I'm revisiting She-Ra on Netflix. Just it's all right. It's okay.
Like the very cartoony one, right? The very stylized.
Yeah, She-Ra. It's cartoony. Like I made it finally through the first season, and it's like, all right, I can background watch this for sure. It's cool. It's in 4K, I think. So.
Kudos for She-Ra.
Yeah.
That's just like a bygone era for me. Like the He-Man, that toy set is just not something that I have any interest in.
Yeah, they've had a hard time reaching people in the newer generations, but
I enjoyed the new show, but I think I loved it like you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it enough, but I mean, there's other better things, like the things we're watching lately are better than that. So,
oh yeah,
it's just
for sure.
It's about availability. You know what I mean? Like I watched For All Mankind because I had a few days left of my Apple subscription, but like I only watched it because like a lot of people recommended it. Like normally just picking up a show just randomly, it doesn't work out as much for everybody. So
no.
But yeah, did you watch The Ring of Power yet?
I have not.
Or
I haven't had time. It's a busy week here, and it'll be a busy weekend and a busy week next week. But I will find time.
Again, I recommend that one.
High fantasy is not something I do in anything, but Lord of the Rings is the outlier. So
you love Star Wars? That's high fantasy.
It's high science fantasy.
It's about a kid who discovers he has magic powers, learns that his dad is the Black Knight, who
he has midichlorians.
He has
a high M count.
He has a wizard mentor. I like they fight with swords. Like I don't understand how you don't see that this is.
I think it's cooler when they light up. I guess the sword in Lord of the Rings does light up, whatever the dagger is.
They do. Sting lights up. Yeah.
I mean, there's other isms that or other things I can't.
You're splitting hairs right now.
But let's instead of splitting hairs, should we? I would say split some news, but that doesn't make sense.
No, we'll talk about news. Let's go for it.
Week before D23, week before a lot of big Marvel stuff's going to get announced. So not a big week for Marvel stuff in general in the lead up. But we got some cool stuff though. This was put out yesterday. Check this out for all you Lego lovers, adult fans of Lego. This is like a Black Panther bust that they're releasing October 1st, measuring 18 inches, 15 inches wide. It's kind of like the first bust thing that they've done. They've done helmets before, but never the full kind of lower or upper torso.
Yeah.
But check this guy out.
He's doing the Wakanda Forever thing. That's kind of
He
cool.
is doing the Wakanda for everything, and you can actually pose the fingers, and you can remove the gauntlets itself, and you can just have the bust if that's what you choose. But
okay, all right.
It's kind of cool. So if you want to get crazy into Lego leaks and spoilers, there was a big rumored like Black Panther set coming out, and no one could figure out what it was. So this obviously being it, people were really surprised because they had never, like this is an 18 plus set. So people are like, "What is an 18 plus Black Panther set?" And the bust is what it is. So
does that mean 18 plus is an age?
Yeah. So anything in a black box like this is age 18 and up. They're pretty complex builds for what they are. They're usually more expensive as well. Most of these start at $100. This one is, I believe, $300.
Wow.
Lego's gotten pricey.
Wow.
And you
That's
pay for that
ridiculous.
Marvel tax, but it's worth it. You get cool stuff like this. And on the Black Panther train, going to his nemesis in his upcoming movie, Namor. More specifically, this Namor.
Well, I don't think it's gonna be his nemesis because he's dead.
Well,
it's gonna be somebody's nemesis.
It's the title.
It's gonna be a character in the Black Panther sequel. Yes.
Well, do you know the artist who drew this Namor?
Not specifically that one. No.
This is Mike Deodato.
Oh, Mike. That's Mike Deodato. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
This is Mike Deodato's Namor.
I love Mike Deodato. He's a cool artist.
I touched on this while we saw each other this weekend, but
yeah,
Mike Deodato had some comments about the actor playing Namor.
Fuerte?
Yes, specifically his physique. So this is a now deleted tweet Mike made. You can tell someone screwed up when a character from a movie looks in worse shape than the 60-year-old artist who drew him. And he posts a picture of himself shirtless next to the actor playing Namor shirtless.
That's a little bit more than shirtless, bro.
Yeah, the text is basically covering his butt, but you see some thigh, you see a little cheek, full back for our audio listeners. You know the comic, you know the artist more than I do. But I just think it's hilarious. It's like the hubris of Mike in this situation. What do you think? Do you want to buff Namor? Do you want to cut Namor?
I mean, Namor's generally pretty buff, but I'm not going to body shame the approach that they have to this character. Like, I mean, generally speaking, like Marvel makes their people get really jacked. I don't mind that this guy, like, I don't think there's a problem with having different body types in the Marvel universe. So if he's slightly less jacked than every dude that's come before him, I don't think that
you got to remember, like when you get the jacked Captain America or the jacked, like the shirtless Star-Lord, they bulk up for that one 15-second scene.
Yeah, I know.
And then that's it.
But this guy's going to be shirtless all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's unrealistic.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. And this is my argument against like jacked Superman also. Like, if you have super strength that was from birth or, or just inherently given to you, right? There is no reason you should be jacked unless you're lifting, several tons all the time to keep in shape. You know what I mean? Like, so I've always made the argument that there's no good reason that Superman should be as freaking buff as he is. He doesn't lift things that are of any significance to him. You know what I mean?
Is it Frank Miller? He has a super buff Superman.
Everybody draws Superman buff. It's not exclusive to Frank Miller. But that's what I'm saying. I always kind of liked the Christopher Reeve Superman because he's not like, I mean, he's got a big barrel chest, but like his arms aren't like, giant. Because the other thing you got to remember is like for a giant Superman to be like super jacked, it makes for a really noticeable Clark Kent. You know what I mean? So knowing Namor is super strong, but it's because of his genes and he's born that way. Like, I don't mind. Like, I'd rather the person who gets injected with the super serum or an offshoot of that, it becomes super roided out because of a side effect. So I'm not gonna body shame, but I did not know Mike Deodato was that buff. So that's pretty cool for a 60-year-old.
Yeah, so good on them. We appreciate
Mike
all
Deodato
bodies here.
is a great artist though, and he should stick to that. So
noted. Last little piece. So today's Disney Plus day. Day is recording. Kind of a weird Disney Plus day. But today, Thor: Love and Thunder came out on the service, and they actually did some tweaking. If you remember the scene where Heimdall's son Axel pops in for a split second, it looked pretty crummy in the theatrical release. They cleaned it up a bit for the Disney Plus release.
I didn't remember it looking crummy, but okay.
It's definitely noticeable from the comparisons I've seen.
I mean, when you see them side by side, it's noticeable, but like, I don't remember that taking me out of the movie in that moment in time, So
the question I'll pose to you is, are you okay with these types of edits?
It doesn't really matter if I'm okay with it. At the end of the day,
I just want your take.
No, I'm saying at the end of the day, it's the people who own it. You know what I mean? They can do whatever they want with it, and like, I don't think it ruins it, but like, and it doesn't change the experience I had watching it originally. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the whole Star Wars, special
That's where I
editions
was
and the
going with
special
this.
editions, whatever. Like, sure, you can have them, but like, I still have the memory of what it was before, and you can't change that. You know what I mean? So like, just like the Spider-Man re-release that came out last weekend, like, whatever. I saw some of those clips on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't care.
I would say Star Wars is a little different though, because it's nearly impossible to legally watch a original Star Wars cut without any the raw cut from the movie, unless you own I forgot what even format those came out in back in the day that still has that original cut.
They're on VHS.
But people want that, and that's that's an argument against, I guess, these types of changes. But I'm with you. I don't mind these little tweaks. If you can clean it up,
I don't mind them because like I said, they can't take away what I already experienced, but like, I could see how certain times like it can if they're changing the narrative of the story like that would suck, like that would not be cool. For Spider-Man, I kind of get it. Like, I was kind of annoyed at the time, like Spider-Man No Way Home was the second Marvel movie to have just a trailer in the stinger or in the post-credit scene, and I was really, I don't like when they put those there because it doesn't age well, right? Because
some assembly required.
Yeah, because like 5 years later, when you're binging the whole thing, you're like, ugh, I didn't need a trailer for the movie I'm gonna watch anyways, So I appreciate that they replaced the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer with an actual scene that kind of caps the movie off, I guess.
Wait, really? What they replace it with?
They replaced it with Betty Brant, the one of the girls.
Oh, yeah.
She's running like an interest or retrospective on their time in high school, but all of the photos from their time are missing Peter in them. It's just to show you the effects of the spell. So it's not really great. It's not a fun watch, but it's better than watching Doctor Strange's trailer if you're just going to binge them back to back. Literally, Doctor Strange is the next movie that came out after that. So it's like, you made, like, I don't get it. Like,
I mean, it was a little bit of a bigger deal though, because that was the first look at Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Sure.
Until a week later when they released the trailer, but for that split moment in time, that was your first footage of what is it, Gargantos, whatever the one-eyed monster is, right?
Whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, but
I
not whatever. D23.
so we're gonna talk about D23 now.
We're gonna talk about D23.
All right. Cool.
So the D23 starts tomorrow.
Yes.
The big Marvel showcase is Saturday.
It's gonna be the first one I missed in a little while. Like I think I started going in like 2017 or maybe 2015. I can't remember.
You're only been to 2, right?
I think I've only done 2, but like they're only every other year.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with the first one, and so I went back second time, and it was still great. But like the one I did in 2019, I definitely felt like um, less. It was less necessary for me to go to the Marvel panel, and also the hoops that I had to jump through to do it were just too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, like I said before on the show, like I just read everything in my hotel room, and I was like, yeah, She-Hulk, cool, you know. So if I had gone this weekend, I wouldn't have gone to the Marvel panel anyways.
Yeah.
I would have just read it all, online. But yeah, mostly it's like organized shopping is what that convention is. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah. I
just
mean, it's our subsect right now. We're probably focused on the Marvel and somewhat Star Wars stuff of D23, but it is a
but
Disney
but
convention.
when you're there, you end up buying from all of the
Yeah,
sections of
no,
Disney.
for
You can't help yourself because they make it so like you're like, don't you want to go to this one? I'm like, yeah, I think I do now. I don't know. Do I want Golden Girls merch? I
yeah.
guess.
About to say,
Yeah,
if
I
you didn't
guess I
know
do.
already, Disney owns a lot of shit.
Yeah.
There's probably something in that building you're like,
So I don't mind not dropping like 500 to a grand on merch at Disney Plus or Disney D23 this year. But with that said, I am excited about Saturday, which will be the Marvel panel. And I believe like so I didn't go to the Comic-Con panel with you guys
no,
that was a choice I made. I didn't want to sit and wait for my wristband for Hall H, and I didn't want to sit through all the crap that they talked about in Hall H that wasn't Marvel.
yeah.
And I had a fun day. It was
Mm-hmm.
great. But then, like I didn't get to be there for the moments where you guys got to cry and celebrate everything that got announced and all these things. I get it, I know what I missed. But I had already read like kind of a spoiler list of the leaks that were
Yeah.
supposedly going to be dropped at Comic-Con, and nothing that was really shown at Comic-Con was surprising to me. But what was surprising is all the things that I read about that didn't get announced at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And so one can only assume that those are the things that are going to be dropped on this weekend at D23.
And they were coy at that Comic-Con panel too, where Feige, they like to show the roadmap, right? That's like always the big exciting thing. And there's blanks. There's a lot of blanks in that roadmap. Again, we have a map up until 2025. Most of 2023 and 2024 is filled out, but there's still a shit ton of slots and a ton of stuff that we know that they've talked about and haven't talked about since, and stuff that they haven't talked about that is 100% happening.
Okay, so here's my question to you, and I think we can make a game out of this since we're not doing trivia. I want to know. I want to share predictions for what we think, and I don't want none of these like I think Blade's gonna be there. No, that's bull. That's garbage. I don't care about if Blade shows up. I'm talking about. I want to know what you think they're gonna reveal that has not been revealed before. And I'm not talking about footage for things that are currently
Can I give
filming.
the easy one off the bat?
So we can take turns, but I think what do you want to do? Like top 3 things or top 5 things? What do you
top 5?
Top 5 things, and I think whoever gets more of them right gets a pizza next week or something.
All right,
I don't know.
sure.
All right. You go first. What's your first one? What's your first thing that you want?
Can I lump 2 together or no?
Sure.
Well, I guess I'll lump one together. I'll say one. They're gonna announce Werewolf by Night and put a date on it. They still have not From Marvel, there's not been a mention of that Halloween special. It's filmed, it's shot. The director,
You mean
his
it's
name?
animated?
No, it's live action.
It's live action?
Yeah.
I thought it's animated.
No, man, now you're making me second guess.
I'm
I could
pretty
have
sure it's
swore
animated.
it's live action because they have the leaks that I'm seeing is that it's a very Teen Wolf-esque take on visually on the werewolf.
Yeah,
We will get a Werewolf by Night official announcement at D23. That seems like a lock in the system.
okay.
I'll take the easy one.
All right. Okay. I think there's been a lot of rumor that Henry Cavill has been cast in the Marvel universe.
Did you see as who?
Do I see as who? I've seen two different theories. One as Captain Britain, which I think is super cool.
That's a good one.
The other as Hyperion.
That's the other one I saw.
I'm cool with either of those.
The leading rumor with that is Loki season 2 is where a Henry Cavill will pop up.
Okay,
which would make sense, I think. Sure,
I'm
you
cool
can
with
get
that.
weird with the characters there.
Yeah, I think either way, it's a Superman type character. And I think the idea of announcing or introducing the Excalibur universe before the X-Men is super cool.
Him
That's
as
like
Captain
really
Britain
cool.
would be cool. Isn't Hyperion essentially like a Superman analog?
He's a bad Superman.
So he's Homelander.
Kind of, yeah. He's Homelander before Homelander existed. So for that reason, I kind of would prefer he's Captain Britain, but I'm not gonna say just because the boys did it, first on screen,
Yeah.
that Marvel can't do it better. You know what I mean? Like, because the the Squadron Supreme is essentially the Justice League, but gone wrong. Yeah, yeah. And so I think they're cool. Like, and I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like the Homelander's story is very similar um to Hyperion's in that, like, except the difference is like Hyperion actually is an alien just like Superman, but you get to see what happens when he doesn't get raised by the perfect old married couple in Kansas. What happens when he gets raised by the government, and which is very similar to Homelander's story. But yeah, that's my first guess. What else you got?
Again, you're going for some deeper cuts, man. Fantastic Four. I think we'll get the Fantastic Four cast announced as well as the director, which we kind of got a leak 2 weeks ago. But that seems to be like that'll be like the tent pole of that showcases, bringing back the Marvel's first family. The side rumors I've seen with that is they're gonna announce that Spider-Man will be in that movie. But that one seems a little iffy on the leak side of things. Because there's obviously other parties involved with that type of announcement. But for sure, we'll get a Fantastic Four out of this. I don't necessarily think that
we're
means
gonna get the whole cast.
I think we'll get the whole Fantastic Four. I don't think that gives us a Doom though.
I've heard rumors that John Krasinski has been signed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I love that. I've also heard rumors that Penn Badgley is up in the running, and Penn Badgley is from the Netflix show You, and he's amazing on that show. And I actually could see him being the slightly sociopathic Reed Richards, because that's what Reed is. Reed is
he's so
like
into his work that he's just
he's like a beautiful mind. You know what I mean? Like where he's so into the formulas and stuff like that Like it's the other three that keep him grounded. Like he actually in one of the bigger events of the Marvel comics, like the Secret Wars sequel, um, he is the bad guy, but it's a version of him in the Ultimate Universe that just he didn't form those bonds in the same way with Sue and Ben and Johnny, and so he just let his mind go to the furthest extent, and he ended up trying to take over all the universes, all the multiverse, and that makes sense, like so he's basically like the Rickest Rick.
Oh yeah, I think it's based. Yeah, the relation is opposite. That's based off
Yes,
him, but yes,
I know, but people
yeah.
see what they see
Council
first.
of Ricks comes from Fantastic Four.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
That's a good one. Did you see? I forget her name. She's free guy. Jodie. Is it Comer?
Jodie Comer, yeah.
That's the rumor for Sue right now.
Really? Yeah. See, if it's gonna be John Krasinski, the likelihood that Emily Blunt is Invisible Woman is very high.
That's just good marketing right there.
Well, it's also Marvel has wanted her for a long time. She was their first choice for Black Widow.
Black Widow, and she turned it down.
And then she was their first choice for Peggy Carter. So
she just has a bad agent.
She had scheduling conflicts both times. So it's not that she didn't want to do them; it's that she couldn't do them. But yeah, I agree with you that I think the Fantastic Four is a very obvious one. I was just like, if you want to play the low hanging fruit game, I guess we can do that.
That's why we got 5 or whatever.
All right, cool. Deadpool. We're gonna know what's up with Deadpool by the end of this week.
Imagine if they call it Deadpool Homecoming.
I don't care what it's called. I need him. I need him in the scene with She-Hulk. Both of them just together.
It's a little like you do a Deadpool movie before you do an X-Men, right?
I kind of want one before an X-Men movie. I want him to be the weird reason that the X-Men happen, or so. I don't know. That would be hilarious if he's the father of the X-Men in this universe or something, But yeah, no, I want that. I want a Deadpool. I want to know what the plot is, or loosely who he's fighting or whatever, or why he's in the MCU, anything. I just want Ryan Reynolds there with everybody else. That's what I want to know. All right, what do you got?
I think we'll get some Disney Plus announcements in the form of season 2s. I think you get a season 2 of Moon Knight. That seems like a pretty safe bet right there. I think the kicker or the big one with they'll announce a season 2 She-Hulk at D23. You're riding high. You got to ride the high off the show. I'm sure it's somewhat internally greenlit, whether or not the cast and crew know about it. But I think you ride that wave and drop a, oh yeah, we're doing more.
That show, more than any other Marvel property, is built for TV. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all that's all you have to say for that. You could probably give a date for a Moon Knight 2, but the She-Hulk, you can just leave it for the next D23. Just drop the nugget that you're going to do it and dip out.
But, all right. Okay. I will go with another one that I've heard a while ago, and I just kind of want it to be true. Like, I'm okay buying you a pizza if I'm wrong on this one. Supposedly they have an actor to play Dracula in Blade.
Oh yeah, I know this one. You want to say it?
Do you?
Yeah.
Anthony Starr.
It's a good-looking Dracula right there.
AKA Homelander. I think that would be amazing if it's true.
He's just the slick back hair. He has the Dracula face.
I think he could pull off an amazing Dracula, and Dracula's public domain, so everybody can have him. So there you go.
Is there anything cool with Marvel's Dracula, or is it just the same dude?
Not that I remember. Like, he's he's Dracula, you know, like, but I mean, I know that they tried to like urbanize him in that Blade Trinity movie, and that was just it was too much. It was too much. So, but yeah, I want to see a Blade villain announcement for
Okay.
for
Any Blade announcement shit. They 2019, the last we heard about that. And then
yeah. Well, I want a villain announcement because we know Blade's coming. We're not. It's not a surprise, you know.
Yeah.
But it would be great if Dracula was there.
Let's see. I think we'll get.
How many was that? Was that 3 for me?
3 for you. I think it's 3 for both of us, right?
I said Dracula, Ryan Reynolds, and
Hyperion or
Hyperion or
Henry
Cavill.
Cavill.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
We'll get an Eternals 2 announcement. You got Chloe Zhao coming back.
Do you think we're gonna get that one right now?
I think you do. If you don't get her now, I don't think you get her back again. And I think she's a big part of why that movie. I don't say she's a big part of why that movie works. I think just visually. And there's a bigger story to tell there. They definitely left the door open. You got a Academy Award winning director. You got Harry Styles locked into a property. You make that happen now while the iron is hot and while Harry's not spitting on people.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna steal one.
Okay.
From you just because I want some low hanging fruit too. I think you're gonna get some announcements on some X-Men.
I think you get the Professor X.
I think you get Professor X and possibly a Cyclops.
I don't think you get X-Men. I think you get Professor X and
you can have Magneto. Professor X and Cyclops without being X-Men.
There's a pretty big rumor that they have Giancarlo signed for something, Denzel signed for something. So I mean that's if I'm putting the pieces, that's a pretty good Professor X Magneto combo in either format. So
I think it'd be really cool if both of them are black and they're more just in line with the Professor X and sorry, I meant Malcolm X and
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. Thank you. I think that would be really cool. I wouldn't mind. That'd be interesting. Denzel as Magneto. The only trick I have, I get a little uncomfortable when you cast like older people as these characters that I wish could be around forever. Like I really appreciated what they tried doing with First Class, where they tried having some younger actors that could be there for a long time.
Couldn't commit to the chair though.
Yeah, he couldn't commit to the chair, but like I really loved the guy they got for Magneto in those movies.
Fassbender's great.
Yeah, Fassbender's great. It just got weird when like the movies caught up to like the 90s and Fassbender still looked great, and 10 years later he's supposed to turn into Ian McKellen, and I'm like, this doesn't work, you know. So but yeah, I'm kind of afraid like when you go, you know, at like what Denzel's gotta be in his late 60s, right? Like he's like it only concerns me is like how long can you
but I mean it's
have a Magneto, you know?
Is the X-Men franchise bigger than Magneto and Professor X?
It is, but Magneto is the best X-Men villain of all. And the thing about Magneto is like when done right, he's not even just the best X-Men villain. He's one of the best Marvel villains too, you know? And so like if you're giving everybody their day in the sun, right? If Kang gets to be the big bad for a little while, and then Doctor Doom presumably gets to be the big bad, it would be nice one day if you get to see a Magneto versus an Ironheart.
You kind of have to get everyone out the door right before, like, because I think the end game for a lot of people is a Galactus. But how do you top a
I don't think
a
Galactus is the
Galactus.
end game.
No?
I think there's more ridiculous things that you could have, but
Okay.
Galactus is fun. Galactus is fun. Like honestly, like we're doing things in reverse because like in the comics, the Infinity War was like one of the biggest things ever that happened in the Marvel universe. So we're kind of like just picking up the leftovers at this point, you know.
Oh yeah.
Um, so, and that
But
was an Infinity War that didn't even have nearly as many characters as there were in the story in the comics, you know.
yeah, work with what you got.
But in any case, I would love to see some X-Men stuff besides Ryan Reynolds. I really want that. And they've been teasing us this year. You know what I mean? Like with Miss Marvel, like dropping the M word, and
I
that
mean,
was M for mutant,
it
everybody, in
almost
case you misheard me.
it almost feels certain like at the very least, I think we get we get the title, whatever it is, X-Men, or what was the running title? The
Mutants.
mutants, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm fine with
and a
that.
date or a slot with it, and I think you can just slot that in and it be okay. But I feel like you'd want to announce it with the Professor X ready to go. But I just
Hmm.
don't think you get an X-Men. I think you just get like the one or two.
I think you get both.
Well,
All right, what is your guess then?
let's see what else we're missing here.
I stole that from you. I
You
knew
know,
you were
you
gonna
took
do
that
it.
one. Mm, I got. I've seen some Nova stuff float around, and that's another untouched thing that I think a Nova can pop up in Captain Marvel. Right? That seems like a good fit.
I mean, everybody wanted him to show up in Guardians. And
They're kind of
James Gunn
there.
tried. He tried, but he just didn't ended up not doing it. Yeah.
The prevailing rumors of Nova show. I'll commit to a Nova anything, either Nova movie or Nova show.
All right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last one I'll go with is just it's a little more bonkers, but I think there's definitely a lot of traction with this one. So Wonder Man.
Yes, we've
I
been.
think I think we're gonna get a Wonder Man.
We had that announcement or that leak last week.
Jeremy Allen White, right?
Jeremy Allen White.
I think
It's
we're
either
gonna
him or
get.
Henry Golding. He was the other one, right?
See, now that's better. He actually looks more like Wonder Man.
Wonder Man is supposed to be like the perfect one of the
He's a
right. That's part of
very,
his.
very handsome dude. He's not like perfect, but he's very handsome. Yeah. Henry Golding would be better, but either way, I think we're gonna get a Wonder Man.
Okay.
Because we're trying to fill out this Avengers team like with all the second tier Avengers, and
Like I
Wonder
think,
Man's definitely one of
yeah,
them.
I think we have a good sense of the movies. It's a lot of this like Disney Plus stuff that's kind of up in the air for a lot of people, and what shows are going to be announced, and
Mhm.
what if they're are they. I don't want to call them like are they series more like Moon Knight where it's like a 6 episode thing? Is it more like a She-Hulk thing? Like I think you can do
Yeah.
a longer form Wonder Man, right? If you're playing that comedy angle.
Yeah, and I told you
But
before, I don't know how the MCU will adapt Wonder Man because like the whole thing is like his character in the comics is very much intertwined with Scarlet Witch and Vision, as like
mhm.
he's actually Vision's persona is a hybrid of Ultron and Wonder Man. And so since that didn't happen, um
I mean, there's a white Vision somewhere in this world, so sure.
no, but I'm saying like that's how Vision starts.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're not starting there, he's no longer tethered to that. He doesn't have to be. He can have his own identity. You know, he
Mhm.
has other aspects of him. He's an actor who I think went bad, and he got like ionic powers, and he turns purple and shoots lasers and stuff. And at first he was doing bad stuff, but then he became a hero. And you know, there's stuff there, but I'm just trying to figure out, other than the part where he's an actor, like what is the angle that we're going with this character. And I trust in Marvel at this point. Like they always like different perspectives, and they like to try playing with different genres. So it's really just about seeing what genre it's gonna be, because I have no idea. Yeah. All right. You got a last guess or no?
No, I'm locking in my picks.
You got locking in the 4?
Locking in the 4.
All right.
It's only an hour presentation. What else you got? I mean,
you got Ralph Boner.
That's supposed to be coming up in a Wonder Man. He's supposed to pop up in Wonder Man.
So is that your prediction then?
I'm not going to commit to that. I'm standing with Frank on this one.
I thought Frank is really.
Is Frank pro Ralph Boner? Or?
Yeah, he wants Ralph Boner to come back in Wonder Man. So you're like, no thanks. All right, fine. Well, there's our predictions. We will keep track of them, and next week we'll tally the votes and see how we did and eat. And somebody's eating a pizza in front.
Yeah, we're gonna eat a pizza. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Cool. You want to talk about the things that we showed up to talk about?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Here's us 46 minutes ago saying we could do a short show.
We could do a short show. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And now here we are finally talking about Harley Quinn season 3, episode 9. Before we do that, I mean, we probably should have said this when we were doing our crazy predictions, but those are just predictions, so they're technically not spoilers until they actually happen. But
yeah,
spoiler warning for Harley Quinn episode 9. It just came out, the Thursday of this week. So we understand if you haven't had a chance to watch it. I get it. If you're interested in knowing what happens, for yourself, go watch it and then come back and check us out. Otherwise, just stick around, and we're gonna spoil the crap out of it. But yeah, for what was it? The title of that episode was a really good one. Misleading to me. I thought it was going to be something cooler than it was, but the title was Climax at Jazza Pajizza. And the summary of that one was: when an inadvertent plant zombie apocalypse breaks out in Gotham, Harley fights to save the city while Ivy embraces her inner supervillain. I wanted Jazza Pajizza to be something other than what it was, but it was still funny. But tell me what your thoughts on this one were.
Until the start of the show, when you said it was the episode before the finale, I thought this was the finale. I was pretty happy at the end of this one.
Oh, really?
I was like, okay, that's a cool way to put it. She goes bad, but not really. But I like this episode. I don't know if it's my favorite Harley Quinn episode, but a lot of just you get to see Harley go the hero side and Ivy lean the villain side kind of the full extent, while a crazy, unchecked Batman tries to bring back his dead parents. And that's I thought that's kind of a funny little story there.
Yeah. So I'll back it up a second. So basically the premise of this one is Bruce Wayne used Ivy's jacked up Frank, who now has godlike plant powers, to he altered Frank's DNA and used him he planted him into the ground to use him to resurrect his parents. Inadvertently, it ended up, the roots go everywhere in the ground. So it ended up resurrecting all the dead people in Gotham City, but they didn't come back normal. They came back as plant zombies. And who like to go around vomiting black liquid on everything. And, this episode there's basically 2 stories going on, which is one, Batman and his team Bruce is realizing he made an oops. He made a big oops. And his team and Harley are trying to fix up that mess. But on the other side of it, you have Ivy, who is realizing that her original plan to terraform Gotham may have gotten, quote, fucked up by Bruce. but it doesn't mean it still can't take place.
Yeah.
So she kind of has like this realization that she can take control of these plant zombies and remake Gotham in her image. And so yeah, she has a turn, right? She has that villainous turn that you kind of always expect Ivy to do, because like Ivy is one of Batman's greatest rogues, or one of his greatest villains. But she, most of the time on this show, doesn't really do a lot of villainous shit,
No.
at least lately, you know. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see that. I see how you could like this to be the conclusion, which just ends with, like, you know, Harley making the sacrifice that it's not really much of a sacrifice, but it's
No.
funny in the moment, you know, like to make Ivy reverse everything and turn Gotham back to normal, and sacrificing her own plans for remaking the world in as a vegetation friendly place. And then it ends with her just screaming "fuck," you know, like I get that you could see that being a conclusion, but like when I read, you know, climax at Jazzapajiza, if you're telling a story correctly, or you know, like you do the climax in the 9th episode, and then in the 10th episode, it's what referred to as like the denouement, which is allowing the resolution, kind of like an epilogue
Mhm.
of everything, to see where things kind of like settle, you know what I mean? And in the settling, you can still have
Stuff happen. Yeah.
cliffhangers. You can still have cliffhangers and stuff. So if anything, it made me excited for next week that it ended there, because what does that mean for the relationship, right? Like that was a big thing, right? Like she kind of
Well,
put
she put
her,
confidence in Ivy, and then Ivy used that confidence to enact her will on the plants and follow
and
through with her plan.
she thought Harley would be okay with it, you
Yeah.
know. So like they have a little different, they have some miscommunications going on
Oh,
here,
for
right?
sure. Um,
Um
I mean, real quick, my God, when Harley gets the vomit on her and starts screaming, that was a little real.
it was pretty intense,
That
right? Like
wasn't
that
like
was
a cartoon scream. That was
Kaylee
like
Cuoco's acting in that was pretty awesome. Like
um
I loved it.
I was browsing my phone. It's so bad. I was, checking my phone for the million things I have to do right now. And when that scream came on, I didn't know if it was real or not.
It was pretty violent. It was a
And
violent
it's
scream. Like,
like
which was funny because the first one we saw was Tony Hale, right? When Dr. Psycho is the first one to get vomited
yeah.
on. And then he's like, so hypothetically, if a friend of mine got vomit on it, you know, like, and they play it really comedic, right? Like he has a whole Pinocchio moment where his nose comes out, like, and it sounds kind of painful, but it's pretty fast. And so, yeah, they kind of like did the whole Tom Holland thing with you know, like I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark,
No,
with
dude.
Harley.
Oh my God.
Like
That
they just
was
made you feel that moment.
hereditary ass screaming right there. Like,
It was a pretty visceral scream. It was really cool, and she's crying the whole time too. Like
yeah.
they animated her crying, so like it was very violent, and so yeah, I appreciate that Ivy waited almost no time to snap it all back to normal. You know, no need to prolong that. Like she let us go through the entire pain, so at least she fixed it fast. And then I like when she asked her, she's like, "Are you okay?" And all you get out of Harley is a grunt. She's like, "Oh." It's just like she can't even vocalize yet because she just experienced so much trauma. But yeah, that was really cool. And then like the other thing going on in the story, like I said before, is Bruce is kind of realizing that he made a big mistake, and King Shark is actually the guy to kind of help Bruce Wayne possibly get over his childhood trauma. Like that was amazing. I
It's just hilarious. Like when he finds King Shark in his mansion and he's not the weirdest thing there. King Shark's like, yo, there's zombies behind you. Like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, those are my parents. but King Shark really just tries to help him understand, that he needs to be a lot further along
Well,
in
they relate their traumas, right?
yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
revealed like, oh, your parents died like 30 years ago, dude. You need to.
Oh, my bad. I thought okay, I don't want to judge, but you should be further along than you are, like
So
it's
good.
pretty, yeah, it's good. But I think the ultimate thing, when he realizes that he has to set things back and he has to kill his parents so that they can stay dead. And he's like thinking about the trauma he's going to experience from having to kill them after having the trauma for 30 years of watching them die. And King Shark's like, well, I'll do it for you. Like that's what does that mean for Batman and King Shark? Like, I don't, are they besties now? Like what? I don't
Well,
know what
King
this is.
Shark, I don't think he knows that he's Batman. I think they're all
No, he
oblivious to
does
like,
not.
yeah, that
Only
Bruce
Harley
Wayne,
does.
only Harley knows.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying the next time Batman confronts King Shark,
Oh yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's just gonna let it slide, right? Even
Yeah.
though
Everyone
of
gets
all
fucked.
of them, King Shark is the most brutal murderer of like all of Harley's gang. Harley's got a good death count, but she's got nothing on King
No.
Shark, man. But yeah, no, that's what I think is the funniest thing about that character is he's so sweet. Like it's kind of played this similar to like the way Stallone played him in Suicide Squad, right?
Mhm.
Like very sweet, innocent looking character,
That will kill
but
you.
just will just
Murder you.
completely maul anything, anything with flesh.
Um,
Um, the
I
other
like.
one, oh, what were you gonna say?
I was say I like we got Ivy in the outfit.
Yes, we got Ivy with full kitty heel. But she got the full classic outfit, like when she basically Sailor Mooned herself and became her final form. I thought that was pretty cool. My wife asked me, she's like, "Did you jizz? Did you jizz when that happened?" And
My God.
I was like, "Yes, everybody collectively jizzed when Harley finally wore the thing." Um, I also really liked Lake Bell's performance as evil Ivy. Like
Mhm.
I could hear the shift in her voice, and it was pretty cool. Like even if it was just for that one episode, like it was
But she
cool to
wasn't
see her.
like comically evil though. I think the Harvey that or the Ivy that we know is still in there, and even though like it's not like she totally changed her vocabulary.
No, she just got uh um tempted by all the power,
Yeah.
right? Like she gave in to the temptation, and she could feel all the power that she had, and um you can still hear it in her voice. Like that's the hallmark of good voice acting, like it's if she would have done it a little better, she would have got the Emmy instead of Chadwick Boseman. uh
Were they both nominated?
I don't know, but Chadwick won an Emmy the other day
Yeah, for What If.
for What If. Yeah.
Hmm. Lake Bell's in Wakanda forever, so who knows? Full circle.
Is she
Yeah. Oh,
as
there's some rumors
as
for you then.
as Black Widow?
Yes, Lake Bell is Black Widow.
Well, she was in What If.
Um, oh yeah, she was in What If.
Yeah.
As a scientist, that's what her role is in
Oh, okay.
Wakanda. I think that's what they've announced. She is a
Okay.
scientist.
Gotcha. But yeah, no, and then the only other thing that I can think of that like there's two characters. One, Bane got his closure, which
Hmm.
is a dumb story arc, but it was funny. It was for a gag. I really thought Bane was going to be more important to this season than he was, but he just ended up being really bitter about not getting his wedding gift returned to him since they didn't get married. But he got a sacrifice play from Harley, and so now all is forgiven, and Bane is happy. I thought that was funny, but it was weird to me at the same time because I just felt like you could use this character a little bit better than that. But I think the thing that I thought was funniest about this episode, and I guess the show in general, is how down to clown all of the actors are, that they don't even care if they have like the smallest parts ever, right? Like we knew that Tony Hale was going to come back this week to be Dr. Psycho some more, right? Like
Hmm.
because that's the way the episode ended last week where they're all tied up together. By the way, don't know why you would ever tie up a Clayface. And I really think it's funny when they untie him. He's like, "Oh, my wrist feels so much better." Like that's a funny insight. That's a joke because like you can't tie up a Clayface.
He's
But
acting. He's acting.
yeah. But I really thought it was funny that Tony Hale just showed up for like what 3 or 4 lines in that episode, and then he's out. He's just out for the rest
I
of the
honestly
show.
thought they were gonna like kill him, like when they did the tree thing, because he didn't turn back immediately.
No, yeah, we didn't know what was gonna happen,
no.
right? Yeah. And then same goes for like Harvey Guillen as Nightwing. Not a lot of lines in that episode, but they're fun. Like you get the idea that he's just a total simp for Batman, and it's really funny, But and then like likewise, what I thought was really funny is like they found a way to have Robin in the episode without even paying the voice actor. He's just not. He never talks.
Teenagers.
Yeah, it's teenagers, right? Oh, you wouldn't know because you died when I was 8.
And he just dips too. That's hilarious. Like he just goes in his room for the whole episode.
Yeah. And then Clayface too. He's only in the first few scenes of the show, right? And then he's like, I can't help but think my serious portrayal of his father may have led to some of this. And then, Dr. Psycho's like, oh, what's the next role you're playing? Sherlock fucking Holmes? But then he dips out because he's like, wait, does this mean every dead person has been brought back for the dead? So I gotta assume next week we get the follow-up to know where Clayface went. I'm assuming he dug up Billy Bob Thornton's body. That's just my assumption. Like they've used Billy Bob Thornton in several episodes of this
you gotta
show.
get your money's worth.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like these actors are down to just be in the smallest parts of this 22-minute episode of a show. Just because it contributes to the whole story. And like Swamp Thing
He
had
gets a little moment too in the
one
green
scene. Which boy, I really biffed that speech, didn't I? All of it's good. Yeah. I'm really liking this season, especially like I said last week. Ever since I learned that we get another one, it's way better. But I guess the question for you is, since you thought this was the final episode and it's not, what do you want out of next week?
I think it would be a cool full circle moment if Harley joins the Bat family. And I think it works because she knows obviously the secret, right? And she's kind of pseudo buddies with Batgirl now. And I think that would be like the ultimate arc for the Harley Quinn to now fight for, learn how to fight the good way, the Batman way.
I think 100% that's the arc that they're going to lean into next season. But I think there's an extra part to that arc, which is I want them to do that while still trying to maintain her friendships with all of her villains, all of her villain friends. You know what I mean? Like, and she's going to find the struggle that's there because of that. Because there's a lot of good comics where Harley does go good and good stories, like the Injustice story. Harley ends up joining Team Batman. You know what I mean? Like it's not unprecedented. So, and Suicide Squad also, like they had a Suicide Squad like cameo at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But like she's not part of them yet, so I'm interested to see, Harley leaning into the good side, and maybe the rest of them leaning more into the villain side or something like that, so.
Yeah, you can get like a Civil War moment where some go with Ivy and some go with Harley. And
Civil War moment,
yeah.
But I will say, like beyond that, I am very interested to see where Batman goes. Like, does Batman retire and just leave it up to everybody else to do it? Because like, I think he got some really good closure here. You know what I mean? So, like
the way you do it is just make Bruce Wayne get tangled up in so many lawsuits after what happened, and
true,
you take him off the board for a season.
Yeah. Well, next season's the final season, so
I mean, it's they haven't announced that it's the final season, but think you
I'm pretty sure they did actually.
did they?
Yeah, they said
Okay.
for the final season. Yeah.
Sure. That's a good run.
So yeah, I feel like this show is just such a it demonstrates such a strong knowledge of both Harley Quinn and Batman that I would like to see a cool ending to Batman that we've never seen before. And I feel like it's something like the retirement, but not as stupid as the retirement he has in Dark Knight Rises. Something more meaningful than that,
It's a toast to Alfred.
Yeah, so there's something there where we could see it, because like honestly, like that whole sequence where they're like fighting all the zombies with all of Batman's gear, and Ivy gets pissed off because like it's all non-lethal ordnance, and she's like, "What the hell? Nothing?" And they're like, "Yeah, we as a family just decided that we just don't want to kill," and no exceptions, right? And I just think that whole scene was a love letter to everybody who got butt hurt by Zack Snyder's Batman. Like it was just like saying, "We get it. We understand that this is the ridiculous length that the Batman goes to, right? Is just no killing because of his trauma, right? It's because everything's because of the trauma. And even if it doesn't make the slightest bit of sense, like why would you never have lethal ordnance in case of a zombie apocalypse, right? Not a good idea, but that's what they did, so they're just going around shooting nets at zombies and shit, like, and it's funny. It's really funny. But yeah, I think I want to see at the next week, I want to see Ivy like cliffhang with that, like which way is she gonna go. And then at the following season, it would be cool to see her explore that. And then it's likewise with Batman. I kind of want this season to cliffhang with where's he gonna go? Like is he done? He might be done. So who knows? But yeah, I'm excited, and I'm kind of curious what our audience thinks. Like what if you guys have ideas of where you think this is gonna go, let us know because we're curious. And also let us know what you think about our crazy predictions, even though like you'll know the facts by Saturday for sure. All right, you want to finish up and talk about the one last thing?
Let's finish strong.
All right, it's time to put spotlight on She-Hulk season 1 episode 4. This one was titled "Is This Not Real Magic?" and same spoiler warning applies to this one as the other one. Also, She-Hulk came out same day, Thursday, as Harley Quinn. So I really don't blame you if you haven't watched it even once or twice, like I did. Which is really crazy. I don't know, man. Like I have such mixed feelings about this show in general, and I don't mean that to say that it's a bad show. It's that I watch the show every week, and I am in love for a full 30 minutes or 25 minutes, whatever. Like I just am filled with joy. And then I go on TikTok and social media and stuff, and I am constantly assailed by idiots who just do not
step one right there.
I just don't understand like why people are deciding that they can tell people how to think. You know what I mean? Like somebody saying it's a good show, somebody saying it's a bad show, and then whatever one they're saying, somebody else says, "No, you're wrong." And then it's like, well, it's opinion. So that's weird. That's weird. But like people got into some really crazy shit this week on TikTok because She-Hulk is just pissing people off. And I get it. There's a whole group of misogynists that just hate the show just for existing. I get it. You know what I mean? But like I also get that if you didn't want a Marvel comedy, this might not be your cup of tea, because like this is definitely Marvel trying straight up comedy,
100%. Again, there's 25 movies, 8 shows, literal thousands of hours of content, or not, probably 8,000 hours of content, right? You think that's a safe bet?
1,000?
1,000?
I don't know about that, but there's a lot. There's
a lot of content out there.
There's hundreds of hours of content.
so think of it like going to the Cheesecake Factory at this point. I love the Cheesecake Factory. A lot of stuff there I like at the Cheesecake Factory. A lot of stuff that I'll try. A lot of stuff that I won't try as well. But that's okay because there's a lot of other stuff that I know I'll like. And that's what this show is. I think everyone's trying to make it the Infinity War Winter Soldier high level stakes, and that's not what they're trying to do here. They are very clearly making a comedy, a very self-aware comedy that pokes fun not only at itself but at the world that the viewers and the world that the insane world that they live in. So you're either on for the ride or you're not. I mean, if you want the serious thing, what's the next Disney Plus show?
Secret Invasion.
There you go. That's your Winter Soldier, the TV show. I guarantee it, and you'll love it. But this is not that, and that's okay. You just have to be okay with it.
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing that really comes down to it about just in Marvel in general is, we run a podcast where we like to talk about Marvel every week. So you can pretty much expect that we're going to watch everything Marvel. Even the things that are on Hulu that aren't really part of the MCU, we've done it, right?
Yeah,
we did
watched
MODOK.
Morbius,
We did
now on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Netflix now, and it's yeah, we did Morbius. Dude, I went to see Morbius for you guys just so that I could talk about that show. And I hate that movie so much. But like, here's the thing. You don't have to be us because you're not running a podcast. We're doing this for you so you don't have to. And believe me when I say that, like, not everything is going to be for you, just like Ricky was saying, so I think the trick that happened here is, prior to Marvel, like the closest thing people had to something with this longevity that they could say, oh, I've seen all of these or all of that, like, was James Bond, Star Wars, and Star Trek.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those three franchises are just like, oh yeah, I've been watching James Bond since Sean Connery, or or Doctor Who. Yeah, throw Doctor Who in there, exactly. But those are all single franchises, right? Like they're one thing.
Yeah.
Like all Star Wars is a Star Wars. Like it's all the same Star Wars. All James Bond is James Bond, and all Star Trek is, well, okay, Star Trek's a few things, but it's just a few different places in time, but it's all the same storyline still. The problem with Marvel is once it trained people to understand what was happening, where every single individual franchise was connected to a larger franchise, it made people think that they need to have the badge of honor by constantly watching all of it. And so there's this weird sense of entitlement and a sense of gatekeeping that arises from that. Well, I've seen all of these things, and it's like, and at the end of the day, like, if you have done all of that but you've never read the comics, there's another layer of gatekeeping, right? Like so there's all these layers of like,
like who can out nerd who, like, well, I read the books and then I read this run, and
but if you're ever reading something or watching something that's actively making you angry, maybe you should not be doing that. And
right?
That's
you shouldn't don't watch it. Like, it's just like,
yeah.
It's like, okay. It's okay not to like it.
Yeah, I've told this story before, but like for me, I was reading a lot of Marvel comics hard in the early 2000s, and I was just picking up everything I could that was related to like these big events, and they were all different levels of serious comics, and they were all like, okay, cool, this is the one where Wolverine goes crazy and starts killing everybody. Oh, okay, and how are they going to solve that? And then, oh, here's the one where Spider-Man comes out as Peter Parker to everybody. Oh, that's really dramatic. And all these different stories were happening. And eventually, somebody like got in my ear and told me, you should check out She-Hulk. And I did. And what I loved about it is it was completely none of that. It was just zany comedy. And I was like, where has this been my whole life? And so for me, I think, like you said, we're 23 or 24 movies deep and 8 shows deep. I think this is the perfect place for a breather. You know what I mean? Just a silly nightcap to
I
before we
mean,
go
we're
into the
about to
next.
see Ant-Man's family get fucked up by Kang. The Fantastic Four probably get fucked up by Kang.
We're gonna watch an entire Black Panther movie where
Movie.
half of it's a funeral. Like, you know what I mean?
Like,
Like half of that movie is a
you're
funeral.
buckle up. So
Like,
let's have a
yeah.
little
So like
fun, like before.
exactly. So if you really need the drama, I promise that they're going to give it to you. But it ain't here. It ain't on She-Hulk. And I can be okay with that, So that preamble out of the way, what did you think of this episode?
It
I just
felt
knocked over a thing.
like a very, I won't say it felt like a comic book, but it just felt like a very one-shot episode of what a She-Hulk could be. Oh no, there's this, estranged sorcerer doing magic at it's not called the Magic Castle in the show, but what
The
is the
Mystic
magic?
Castle.
The Mystic Castle. And Wong is suing him for abusing the magic, right? Or
Right.
misusing the magic.
Yeah.
That's a total She-Hulk thing, right? Like that's totally up her alley. All right, Wong, let's send him a cease and desist and take him to court.
It's exactly why GLKNH formed a superhuman law
It's such
division
a,
of their
I
thing.
don't say dumb premise, but like it's a very like superhero show premise. Like we gotta sue the other magician.
Yeah.
And they poke fun at it. It's a total joke of an episode in the best of ways.
Yeah.
They make fun of Wong, this sorcerer supreme, and the dude's getting like having beef with like a sideshow magician. Like it's hilarious, totally hilarious.
Yeah. The other thing I really appreciated about this episode, besides everything you just said, was all right. So like I've said many times, I read the comics for a while. Dan Slott wrote them. Really funny. And I have also said in the past, I don't know that I necessarily recommend people go back and read those because it is kind of weird from the sensibility of 2022, that like this guy was writing all these sexy stories about She-Hulk back in 2003 or 2002, like 20 years ago. But whatever, take that for what you will. And, if that's not something that bothers you, then cool, go back and read it. But like one of the things that I have secretly or not so secretly been waiting for is She-Hulk's dating life. That's the nice way I can put that. Like that's the really nice way I can put it. Because Dan Slott's comic goes into it in depth, and it gets absurd. It gets like, whoa, this is TMI. Didn't need to know that She-Hulk was hooking up with the Juggernaut. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
but yeah,
right.
I was waiting, but I wasn't demanding it of this show because I was like, let's see if it organically comes up, because I don't want to say that they need to have her be dating on this show and have her and show what happens when people want to date She-Hulk and not date Jen Walters. But I wanted it to happen. And so that was the B story of this, right? Like if the A story was Wong's court case with Donnie Blaze, then the B story was Jen
Dating.
going out there dating,
Yeah.
right? She's using what, Matcher or whatever. Was that what it was called? Yeah.
Well, you get to see her dating struggles, but then her kind of furthering embrace the She-Hulk persona and
Right.
starting to see like you kind of start the, I guess to your point, like in the comics, what is it, hubris of Jen when she's in She-Hulk form versus normal Jen.
Yeah. She gets really comfortable as She-Hulk, and that's a problem for Jen because she starts losing her own identity. And so there are serious adult themes happening in this comedy. It's just like, you know, they're doing the Marvel formula that Frank has always been so nice on our show to criticize, but they're doing it at an exponential like scale, right? Like they're saying we're going to dump 80 billion jokes, and then after 9 episodes you're going to get the feel. You're going to feel like a little bad for her, right? And so I'm down for this ride. It's funny, man. It's
Oh man.
and like I don't feel like there's ever a time where I turn this show on and I'm gonna be disappointed anymore, because like it's giving me exactly what the comic gave me, and I love it for that. That said, I can't end this show without saying that the breakout character of this episode is named Madison with 2 N's and a Y, and not in the place you think. What the hell was that character? That was amazing.
Like,
Patty Guggenheim.
where is she from? Something that we know or no?
I'm gonna look her up because I forgot I was gonna look her up before the show. But all I know is that was the best. She was the best character in the whole episode.
No, I don't call it drunkenness because, like, I guess she did always have a drink in her hand, but she's just the most annoying person at every bar or every party.
She's known for Florida Girls and Mr. Mayor and Splitting Together. But the fact that she's in a show called Florida Girls tells me everything.
It says everything I need to know about.
Yeah,
about her and her
she actually
typecasting.
did play a Florida girl, right? She said she's from Florida.
Yeah,
but her dad moved to Phoenix, so sometimes she goes there to visit him. And she spoiled The Sopranos twice for poor Wong.
Calls them Wongers.
Wongers. She calls them Wongers. And then somehow by the end of the show, they cuddling on a couch watching This Is Us together. And they're best friends. And I really, really, really want to see Madison come back again. Not in She-Hulk, but just in anything else with Wong.
Well, I always like those moments in Doctor Strange where we get to see Steven, like in Multiverse of Madness, when the opening while he's going to the wedding. He's he's a normal dude who is also like the master of the mystic arts, but you get to see the daily Stephen Strange, right? So it's kind of neat to see the flip side is the daily Wong. Like Wong's just trying to chill sometimes and watch The Sopranos. The world's not always on fire for him.
Yeah.
But he gets looped into this dumb shit, so he has to bring it all back.
Yeah. I do also love the commitment to the character of Donnie Blaze. Like there was a whole story going on there that we were not privy to, right? Like he has like this
Past
weird like
Wong
mentor slash hype man in Cornelius. They've got his painting up on the wall above, like, in their office and stuff, like, and you're just like wondering, like, is this that kind of relationship that I've seen before in magician stories where it's like the older magician mentoring the younger, like we just have to infer so much about it because like you just get to see it for what it is in that snapshot. And I think that's like everything about this show, right? Is everything is snapshots. So so it's nice to get to see a snapshot of Wong's personal life, right?
It's also such a just them like back to like the Mystic Castle, like that's a very LAS thing, the Magic Castle. So for them to think of that and then to loop it back into Wong, like they even make a joke at it at the first Jen's first scene, like, oh, we got Wong back. It's Twitter
That's
armor
basically
for the week.
like Twitter armor, right? People love Wong.
So good.
The fourth wall
exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, they do. Wong is great. Nobody can complain about Wong, and so or Wongers, whatever you want to call him. God, I'm shipping Wongers and Madison so hard now, dude. Like that is the friendship that you just never would have imagined happening. But thank you, She-Hulk, for giving us that. Yeah, and then like other than that, we got to see like some dating life stuff going on. Like we got to see Jen go on a lot of really, really bad dates. I got to see the drawn out dramatization of like two people on a date, an awkward date, deciding like who pays the bill. Like that scene the build of the music in that scene was so cinematic, and that show knows exactly what it's doing. I've heard the show get a lot of crap for like subpar writing or cinematography or whatever. Like, and I'm like, just go
It's not
watch
why you're
Ally.
there.
Go
It's
watch
not why
Ally
you're there.
McBeal. Go watch Ally McBeal because like this is you're forgetting how simple stories can be told. So at the end of the day, it's a big green woman who's just trying to live her life.
Her big green
And
life.
yeah, exactly.
We do
So
get a little. This almost felt like a very much like a side story in the kind of grander scheme thing that they're building up. But the little nugget at the end was Titania has trademarked the term She-Hulk or the name
the
She-Hulk.
name She-Hulk, yeah, that was good. And she's like, this is kind of a bummer to end the episode on this note, but like, hopefully there's a good tag, but yeah, no. I every episode I kind of hope and wait that we bring it back to Jamil's character. And so I'm excited that next week we'll finally do it at the halfway point, right? The week 5, right, of the show. Um, but yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the stories we've gotten without Titania. But it will be nice for She-Hulk to have an
We
actual
have 5 more
villain.
episodes for a Daredevil to show up.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be funny. He's gonna be in LA, I think, unless he's in New York, unless she's in New York. The other thing, that I wanted to mention on the what was it, the Titania thing. Oh, no, I know. Since we didn't have Ian here on the show this week, I did the due diligence of actually pausing the show multiple times when she was scrolling through her computer to her checklist of all things he's going to do. Just so you know, nothing super interesting there. A lot of like actual lawyer tasks, but it was all resolving things that we've seen, like
Mhm.
like filing the cases for Blonsky, or like guiding him through the setup of the inhibitor chip and all these different, she had a giant checklist of stuff. But it was really funny because when it got down to the very bottom of the page, it was stuff like resolving or reviewing a case that was like Lee versus Bayern. And then like there was some little cameo names of like, Stan Lee and John Byrne kind of stuff that people who've written She-Hulk before. But yeah, there was not a lot of trivia in there that I could find. But I did find one really weird trivia piece for this episode that was like, it's like a lot of layers to it. But I'll give it to you since it was convoluted, and I found this one on IMDb. So the guy who played Donnie Blaze,
Yeah.
his name is Reese Coiro, Coiro. You
Okay.
may know the spelling of that name because that is also the last name of Kat Coiro, the director of this season of She-Hulk, right? It turns out they're married. The two of them are husband and wife. And the other thing that was a more convoluted part of this was his name, Donnie Blaze, in the show, is obviously a reference or not, a wink and a nod to Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze. That character was played twice by Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage. I feel like I'm playing 6 Degrees of Separation right now. Nicolas Cage apparently once suggested that his Ghost Rider co-star Ava Mendes should play the role of She-Hulk.
I think you're reaching there.
I didn't make that up.
I think that's a bit.
I thought that was
funny. Wait, how does that even come up? So like, hey,
somebody wrote that
Nick
on
Cage,
IMDb.
Who should Ava Mendes play?
Somebody really wanted to say that Ava Mendes should play She-Hulk, but they like tied it to like what I see is that could have been like 3 separate stupid pieces of trivia, but this person decided to write it all as one. Like it's trivia enough that Donnie Blaze is the actor is married to the director. That's trivia, and you could stop right there. But he kept going. They just kept going and going. So nobody has found this interesting, by the way, on IMDb yet. That piece of trivia. Just letting you know. Yeah.
The Donnie Blaze thing was pretty funny though. Just that had leaked out like a month or 2 ago. like I think just the poster, but it's really hard to make out. You could make it. It was very obvious it said Ani Blaze, but the first letter was mysterious, so people were kind of losing their shit. Like,
Oh, that's funny.
oh man, are they doing it? So it's
It was a troll.
it's
It
a
was a
kind of
troll.
a hilarious troll that it's just like this C-list magician,
One letter off, right?
one letter
Yeah.
off.
Well, in fairness, I think Johnny Blaze he has an H in his name, doesn't he? I could be
Yes.
wrong. I think he does. One of them Johnny's, Johnny Storm or Johnny Blaze, has an H in their name. I can't remember which one it is. In any case, I love this episode. It was funny, and She-Hulk got laid, and it was super awkward the next morning because she thought she could just be herself, and this dude who was technically the most perfect date ever that night, he was a pediatric oncologist, which was quite disarming for her because she thought he was going to be some douchebag. And no, he treats cancer kids, so like you have to love him. He's like asking her to tell him everything about herself, and he's just patiently listening through the entire story. And then like when she gets pulled away to go fight demons at the Mystic Castle, when you come back to him, he's patiently laying on her couch reading Bad Feminist. And oh my god, dude, like when she started trying to like actually bang this guy, that was the best thing ever for me because
Just picks
like
him up.
she picked him up and took him into the bedroom. It's so good. And I know that was in the trailers. I just kind of forgotten until it happened, and I was
I
very
know
happy with it.
it was like the stinger, right? When he's like, I'm actually just gonna go in the morning.
That really did sting. That stung a little.
It's like,
And then her eyes lit up like when the door knocked, right? Because she thought he was coming back because he that was oh yeah, that was really super oh like and then she got served papers. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, no, I'm really happy with the show. And I highly advise anybody that's not, you should probably just stop watching the show because I don't think it's gonna
yeah, take a
change.
month off. You got
Yeah,
five episodes.
yeah, yeah.
You know, take a
Go
month
watch
off.
Black Adam in a few
Yeah.
weeks. That's the new trailer dropped today. This looks pretty
Yeah.
good. Looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
go see Angry Rock, and
Angry Rock. Yeah.
you'll get sad Black Panther in a
Yeah,
few
you'll get
months.
sad Black Panther. You'll get lots of death in Ant-Man and Quantumania. It's all for you.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's all for you. Everybody who wants all the sadness. If you just want a whole heaping bowl of emo, just go watch Sandman on Netflix. It's great. It's great. It's just it's what you want. So at this point, like I don't know who I'm trolling. It's not like those people watch this show. Like
No, we
the
welcome
people
the
who
trolls. We'll take those
like
numbers.
yeah, usually every time somebody shows up and it's like, I hate Marvel because of blah blah blah, then I basically tell them to go fuck off and then they're never seen again. So that's my bad. But I guess I'm just saying for everybody who's got you know, a good head on their shoulders and just likes to chat about fun things, come hang out with us for a couple hours on Friday night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll be back to normal next week.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of a we got a so it's a big Harley Quinn finale, and then another She-Hulk, and we'll talk about the Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big news week for sure, and with some pizza involved.
Are you gonna watch the Disney Plus stuff live, or are you just gonna kind of follow along afterwards?
Well, I mean, we won't be able to see it live.
I they live stream it, but they do the. I'm pretty sure they do the cutaway stuff. Could be wrong.
I don't remember
Could
them
be
live
wrong.
streaming it. Usually, they take everybody's phones away in that theater.
Like Disney will live stream it.
Maybe.
But
But yeah, I'll be aware of what's going on, and so we'll know what's up with the pizza pretty quickly by Saturday night.
oh yeah.
But yeah. All right, cool. Well, I think we have a lot to look forward to this weekend. And I think you should go watch some Rings of Power and some Sandman. I think those are both really good shows to watch.
So much stuff to watch.
Yeah. Well, that's a horrible problem to have, right? But yeah, and I think our fans should, just hang out and go watch all the things that we talked about today if you didn't get a chance to. And we'll see you guys next week when we talk about all the some more Harley Quinn
More Harley Quinn and more She-Hulk.
Yeah,
maybe with the guest. We don't know.
I'm trying. I am trying. I did ask some people. I have some ideas.
There you go. Got to tune in to find out who it is.
Yeah, tune in to find out. All right. I think that's it for tonight. Thank you to everybody. Thanks to our Patreons for supporting our growth. And like I said before, if you haven't been to our Patreon, patreon.com/genxmedia. Yeah. And normally you can find stuff like the soapbox, but there's also other stuff. Like I'll be posting all the stuff from the toy workshop that I did last week onto Patreon. I put a lot of free stuff on there too, so you actually don't have to pay just to see everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks, Ricky, for hanging out and nerding out with us. And yeah, see you next time on Dan Excelsior, True Believers.
See you guys.